So integrated pest and disease management is a method in which you apply different kinds of techniques to be able to monitor and to control for diseases early. It is important because, first of all, you are able to identify diseases or actually prevent them from being in your field earlier on. And also it allows you to then not rely on pesticides and insecticides and fungicides because you're using different methods to try and monitor and control for pests and diseases. So there is different methods, as I said, in integrated pest and disease management. So you have the cultural method, the mechanical method, you have the physical and mechanical method. You also have the biological method. You also have chemical methods that you can use, which is usually your last resort. And then you could also use host resistant as a starting point to be able to use integrated pest management in your field. So in IPDM, firstly, basics, start with healthy seed and healthy seedlings. Because if you have healthy seeds and healthy seedlings, it makes it a little bit difficult for pathogens to attack your healthy seed and healthy seedling. What you also can do is also sanitize. If you're using seedling trays, it's important that you clean this with either bleach or ethanol solution, just so that you take out any diseases that are present on the seedling trays before you use them as well. So with mechanical methods or physical methods, the one that you can do is weeding. So if you see any weeds within your field, it is important for you to take them out as soon as possible because some pests and diseases are occurring on the weeds and then eventually will move to your crop of interest. So that's one way you can do it. Another way is to use insect traps or pheromone traps that are able to trap the insects as they enter the field, so they get stuck, or the pheromone attracts the insects to the trap, and then you prevent the insects from being in your field and spreading diseases. So natural enemies are where we bring biological control into play. So biological control, you would look for an insect, a natural enemy, for example, of a weed, something that feeds on the weed but doesn't feed on your crop. So that would be one way to get rid of weeds. Another way is to look at certain pests that are able, or certain fungal pathogens that are able to grow and colonize an insect. And in that way, once it infects the insect isn't able to lay eggs or isn't able to survive further in the field. Another way is by the use of nematodes, for example, as a parasite of certain insects. So once it gets inside the insect, it then parasitizes the insect, and the insect is not able to grow and increase in population. So host resistance, if we take it back to looking at using healthy seed or healthy seedlings, if you have something that you know is resistant to a certain pathogen, that is also beneficial in terms that once this pathogen comes to attack, it is not able to attack the plant because that system inside the plant is deactivated in a way. So having a plant that is resistant to a certain pest or a disease is actually beneficial, and you would be able to avoid having a disease or a pest in your field. So chemicals should be used as a last resort, as I mentioned. And this is because with chemicals, they can leach into the soil, they can disturb the normal ecosystem of the soil. So it's important to always read the manuals on the chemicals, consult with chemical companies that can advise you on the best practices that you can use when spraying these insecticides or herbicides. Also with herbicides, when you're spraying them, just make sure that they do not damage your crop of interest and they only attack the weed that you're spraying them on.